Hey there, and welcome to today's daily premium newsletter for May 7th. So today the market went through another sharp 5.5% correction before slowly regaining composure over the course of the day to be only 2.7% down. What largely drove this was the combination of a CNBC interview with Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Charlie Munger, who were all extremely bearish against cryptocurrency, and claims that the SEC hearing today on Ethereum was simply orchestrated FUD. As we mentioned several times, the Wall Street Journal had reported that the SEC was looking into whether Ethereum was a security. Today it was implicated that there was no official hearing scheduled and that any discussions held would not likely pertain to solely Ethereum. The author of the article was quick to defend his reporting, saying that unnamed sources had confirmed it was about Ethereum. Regardless of the implications of this meeting, it should serve as an example of how market manipulation can be both external as well as internal. The crypto market took a single paragraph and blew it out of proportions. Needless to say, an immature market is going to invent its own demons. At the end of the day, we don't believe this to be orchestrated FUD. What the Wall Street Journal had reported was that a working group was meeting today to discuss the topic, and an internal meeting group is going to be purely internal. As such, it's not something we would expect to see on public calendar for either the SEC or CFTC. Furthermore, it's not a topic that should be expected to result in any public announcement or especially a final decision. We're guilty of reading far too much into what was said in the article and sent the market into an unnecessary panic. The second event that rattled the market today was an interview with the FUD Dream Team. Three billionaires together in a room can certainly move a lot of money with their words alone, and they were quick to make their opinions on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency known. It should definitely be noted that Buffett and Munger, who are chairman and vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway respectively, are heavily invested in legacy financial services companies. In fact, 6 of the top 10 investments that Berkshire holds are of this category. It's no wonder they're constantly sharing their opinions on the space. Meanwhile, Warren admitted recently that he had made the wrong decisions when he passed up investments in Amazon and Google. This comes right after he bought 75 million more Apple shares last week. Clearly, he finds value in new technology only decades after it's been introduced. In other news, the new head of Korea's primary financial regulator has confirmed that they will look to ease regulations on domestic cryptocurrency trading. As we learned in September, the FSS issued the ban on ICOs in South Korea. This new sentiment, combined with the recent bill that was introduced that will legalize ICOs in South Korea after last year's ban, makes us very positive for the future of cryptocurrency on the Korean Peninsula. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Doc. Have a great rest of your day and have a great week.
Good evening, folks. Doc for ReadySetCrypto, looking at Bitcoin here on the log chart. Again, the big issue here is if we go out to the weekly chart and expand this out, this is what we're dealing with. We are dealing with Bitcoin especially being still in a bear market with these lower highs and lower lows, right? So we still have not taken out this high, which is about 12,000. And you can bet that every time that we get near there, and lately what we've been trying to do is to close over 10,000, which provides psychological round number resistance up here. So getting over there is going to be an important hurdle. And once we get above 10,000, then getting above 12,000 is going to be a hurdle. But markets never go all at once. We never see markets just go and go and go like this without some retracements or some pauses. In other words, if you were to run up the side of a mountain, you would pause every once in a while to catch your breath, perhaps get something to drink. And this is what markets do, because markets are just another organism that are run by people. So it doesn't particularly bother me to see this red candle here for the week so far. No problem, because this is how markets move. This is what they have to do. Markets have to rally and then pause, rally and pause. So what I talked about before was that Bitcoin and just about every other coin was starting to run into this sort of stair-stepping movement. And today was really the first time that we've seen this stair-stepping movement. We're losing that level that we just got. So we're losing that about $9,700 level that they worked so hard to break out to. But this is okay, because what's happening here is you're seeing the price just consolidate. This is just overall just a big consolidation here at this point, building up a tremendous amount of energy. So we will see some movement from here relatively soon. We will see some movement from this relatively soon, because big energy levels like this are when we see breakouts or breakdowns right after that level. So this is going to be important, because we'll find out one of two things. Either this consolidation at this level, so I think I've totally obscured it now, either this consolidation will lead to the next breakout, or perhaps will lead to the next breakdown. Now, the next breakdown is not necessarily going to be fatal. So even though we're in this, longer term bear, the next breakdown could simply set up a higher low, especially if it comes off this trend line again. So the next breakdown, if it comes off of this higher low and bounces from there, is going to create that higher low, higher high combination. And that's what we want to see. Reversals always start from the inside out. The reversal will start at the daily chart before it starts to occur at the weekly chart. So if we come back out to the weekly chart on Bitcoin again for this, so imagine if this were to occur if we have a pullback here. So again, we're weekly chart, lower highs, lower lows along here. And so what were to happen if this comes down here and then bounces off of here? What's happening? What's happening? Well, we're starting to see a change in polarity now at the weekly chart as well. Because not only is the daily chart showing higher highs and higher lows, but now the weekly chart is showing higher highs and higher lows. And for those of you that understand chart patterns, we're starting to see a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders pattern here, which is something I like. So that could be good. This could be just the next swing after the breakout from the neckline of the inverted head and shoulders pattern. So I'm not just looking at this through bull-colored glasses at this chart or anything like that. Right now, again, I'm still cognizant of the fact that we are in a bear market until the market tells us otherwise. So we should expect to see strong rallies. We should also expect to see strong sell-offs. But if we print a higher low here, this is going to be dramatic because this should lead to the disbelief rally. Let's take a quick look at some other coins here. We have Ethereum with a high volume pullback. So the bears tried to pull this thing back today, but the bulls have bought the dip at about 700. So that appears to be strong support from this level. So we'll watch that level going forward if it continues to support that level. In other words, if we see a strong pullback from there, we might be starting to see a market which is a little bit more volatile. So normally this stair-stepping movement is associated with a very quiet and trending market, not a whole lot of volatility. If we start to see deeper pullbacks, we're going to start to see bigger volatility. You can see some of the big pullbacks over here that we haven't really seen for a long time. This has been a very quiet rally to the upside. Now, some other coins like Ripple and Bitcoin Cash are showing potentially failed breakouts, apart from the fact that EOS right now is showing a bull flag. So this is setting up a bull flag. This may be our next long swing right now because it seems to be running independent of the rest of the market. Cardano is also showing a potential failed breakout. Again, this is not necessarily a bad thing while these charts build up energy again. Litecoin, again, potentially failed breakout. Stellar Lumen, potentially failed breakout. Again, this may lead to a deeper pullback. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing if it prints a higher low. IoT, pretty much the same thing. We have Tron. Tron needs a well-deserved pullback and is actually looking quite good at this point. I'll finish out today's report with showing eBoost here. eBoost actually was in a nice pattern. Look at this energy peak showing up a couple of days ago, and then we've seen a breakout since then. Now, the one thing I wish that TradingView had was the ability to screen based on the CHOP index. It so far does not support that. I may have to see if there's a way to create custom code to do that because we're missing out on some of these breakouts, which I could be emailed on, or at least high energy levels in a trend is going to show very, very accurate results for these types of screens if we can get these to work. All right, folks, have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.